of Worthy by Design. Hello there, it is such a delight that you joined us on today's edition of Worthy by Design, brought to you by Advanced Cable Network Nigeria, ACNNTV. On this show, we focus on the journey from girlhood to womanhood and everything in between. I'm Iberi Chims. Welcome. Last time we saw the need for women to rise in confidence just like Deborah. Today, we'll be bringing you more insights to keep you rising and, of course, shining. And yes, our beautiful guests are still here. To my far left is Mrs. Wendy Fave-Goje. She's the CEO of Roaster Cakes. It's good to have you again.
Thank you.
And to my immediate left is Pastor Nanu Uhebu. It's good to have you again.
Thank you.
Right. So we are going into this conversation from where we left off. Now, it's important for us to identify the things that keep women from rising so we know how to rise, right? So what are those things? We had talked about fear in the last episode. Now, let's build on that foundation. What are the things that keep women from rising? Let me start with you, Auntie Wendy.
Another thing that could hinder women from rising is your association, the kind of people you surround yourself with. I think it's very important in every aspect of your life, to we surround ourselves with people that believe in us, in the calling of God in our lives. I could give you like a personal example. When I started my business, because of the kind of people I surrounded myself with, there was a time I almost gave up on the business, but there were people that even believed in the business more than, I'll say, me, myself, and they kept on encouraging me. And today, to the glory of God, my business is doing well. And I keep looking back and I say, what if I had given up? Because I wanted to give up and start another kind of business, another business that I didn't even believe in. But because I was surrounded with people that were encouraging me. Look at the story of Deborah. Imagine if when she called Barak and he told her he could not go for that battle without her by his side. Imagine if she started uttering words like, I always knew you'd never make it. That's why you people have been like this. You can imagine this story wouldn't have been written the way it was. Bible says, our words, they bring healing. There's death and life in our tongue. So I think it's very important we surround ourselves with the right people, so that in times of, let's say, weakness, discouragement, there are people, godly people, that will lift our hands up.
Okay, our association, and that association is very important to me because you know that your cake has moved from cake and we're having some healthy yogurts. We're seeing the results. Okay, let me come to you, Pastor Nanu. Yes.
I believe one of the things that hinder women from rising is lack of compassion. When you know there are issues everywhere, all around us, there are issues that many of us are equipped to take care of, but we look the other way. We close our eyes. We just don't want to look at it. You know, we need to, and something that can help you develop compassion is to look at the problem. There are people, maybe God is talking to you about orphans, do something about this. Issues in society, there are many, but you don't want to think about it. You need to expose yourself to the problem. When you expose, you will see the compassion that will come, you can't even ignore it. You have to do something about it. And that's the rising to the occasion. You have to do something. So we need to face, that's one of the ways they tell people you want to discover your passion, your calling. Start studying different problems. There's one that will just ignite something inside of you. You know, this is the area I'm supposed to take care of. So we need to develop compassion. Jesus did so many miracles in the Bible, you see, and he was moved with compassion. He was moved with compassion. We need to and women are naturally compassionate, I believe. But a lot of us, I used to do that. I don't think about it because it used to bother me. Because those some issues, not every issue used to bother me, so I didn't want to look at them. But when I started looking at them, God started giving me. Because after when I said, God, what are we going to do about this? He starts talking to you, giving you solutions. So we need to expose ourselves to problems. Go to the Lord in prayer. He will see a burden, and not just a burden, a solution. He will expose you to people that can help that problem. So as women, we need to develop compassion. That's one of the ways to that or lack of compassion is one of the things that hinder us. I also think selfishness, you're self-engrossed. My family, once I'm fine, once my children are fine, once my husband is fine, the way we deal with that is you need to understand that the world does not revolve around you. There are things more important than you. The vision, God's mission, the assignment is much more important than you as an individual. Your problem is not more important than the world's problem. You're just a tiny person in the... In fact, what makes you relevant is your contribution. You being a part of God's story, not God being a part of yours. God doing things. No, it's you connecting yourself to what God is doing, being a part of His story. So we need to look beyond our problems. It's the devil that brings those problems. So we're focused on them all your life. You're just trying to do one thing. If you look away from it and actually look at what God is doing, your life will make much more impact than it would have if you had remained selfish. So those two issues, lack of compassion and selfishness, are things that we need to get rid of because they are hindrances to our rising as women.
You know, that brings to mind what you had said earlier about Abraham. The Bible said God told him, as far as your eyes can see. He was no longer looking at himself. He was looking at what was ahead. So until we are able to look at what is ahead, we can't rise. Because you're looking at yourself. You're not rising. You're just in one position. But looking beyond yourself, looking at the future, looking at the problems, looking at the challenges, trying to get solution to what is bothering other people is what helps you rise.
Yes.
And Wendy, do you want to add any other thing to that?
No, I think I'm okay.
Okay. Now, let us move past that. We have talked about the things that keep us from rising. Okay, maybe I should do a little recap. We had talked about fear.
Yes.
And when we talked about fear, we said it might be real, it might not be real. But if it is real, God is bigger.
Yes.
Then we have talked about selfishness. Look beyond yourself. Then we talked about compassion. You have to learn to be compassionate because that is what makes you rise. And as Wendy, you had mentioned association, very important. They open your eyes to the possibilities you may not even be seeing. So let us pay attention to those 4 things. And maybe we should do an assessment of our lives, you know. Look at where you are and look at where you're headed. And, you know, look at these 4 things. Is it lining up with your life? Are you compassionate? Are you having a proper association? Are you doing the things you need to be doing? Are you finding solutions to other people's problems? If you're not, then you're not rising. But if you're doing all of this, you're sure rising. Now, I'll come to another issue at Wendy. How can men help their wives rise?
There are various ways men can help their wives rise because if God is talking to the wife to rise as a woman, that means as the head, God should be talking to you as well. The question is, are you listening? And anyways, whether she rises or he rises, her rising is his rising. The Bible talks about the woman as the crown of the husband. So I think he will do the wife a big favor by tuning himself to what God is saying concerning his wife, because her rising is his rising. He can also help by words of encouragement, support, prayer, and believing in the calling of God in his wife.
Because that brings to mind Deborah and Lapidus.
Yes.
We didn't hear anything about Lapidus, but at least we heard the husband to Deborah.
Yes.
So if that was the only place he featured in the Bible, he featured because he had a wife that If he didn't support her, she wouldn't be out under the tree trying to, you know, settle people's problems. She wouldn't be out in the battlefield. He probably was at home praying for her. He probably was there, you know, telling her, you can do it, you can do it, you have what it takes to achieve this, you know. So I think that's the feel every woman needs, or every married woman needs. That man that tells you, keep going, you can do it. And maybe stay out of her way sometimes. You know, sometimes people just need to look the other way and allow the other person go. It's not always, you know, you're instructing. Yes, it's good to give instructions, but sometimes just stay out of the way and let the person grow.
True.
And, you know, make you proud.
Yeah. And then there's a way you could, your husband or our husbands can, there's a way they can advise, you know, as the head. There's this, I know, special anointing. Yes, because I remember one time in business, I was like, I'll do this, I'll do that. And just one small observation my husband made, he saved me, and I was like, oh, thank God for your advice, you know. So they still play a role in
vital role.
Yes, that advisory part. Yes.
And then I think it's important that the woman listens.
Yes.
Because one thing is being given an advice from a place of authority and from a place of priesthood. And another thing is taking the advice and utilizing it for your rising.
True.
Right.
True.
Pastor Nani, let me come to you.
Okay.
Let us talk about the single lady. No, we have said the married woman, okay, the husband helps you rise. The single lady, is that a license? The fact that you're not married and nobody is holding your hand, is that a license to be complacent or to just, you know, be at ease? When I get married, it go happen, I go do them. I get dreams, but I'm just married, you know. So what would be your advice to those ladies out there?
It's quite the opposite. When you are single, that is the perfect time for you to get to any height you desire in your career, your ministry, your business, whatever it is. Because there's nothing holding you back. The Bible says a single woman's desire is unto the Lord. She has no husband whose needs she has to be there to meet. If she decides to do video all night, it's nobody's business. If she just decides to go on a 21-day fast and just be, it's nobody's business. You can develop the kind of ministry and that's what will carry you throughout your marriage. And if a single woman, you know, many single people in Nigeria are just waiting to marry. They are just waiting to marry. They are not doing anything. And it's a problem because if you don't discover who you are when you're single, it's going to be difficult when you marry. You go and marry, you're a woman of God, you marry a businessman, you marry a man who needs a businessman's wife. You're not a businessman's wife, you're a woman of God. Because you've not become. So the kind of people you attract will be different from when you become a woman of God. Guess the kind of men that will come. Men like Lapidos, men who can allow their women be. They're not jealous, they're not fighting with you or this woman is rising too much, they want to pull you down. There are different women need different kinds of men. Those alpha men many times don't do well with very strong women. So you're there docile. The man thinks he has gotten a wife that will take care of his children. Meanwhile, there's something burning inside of you that you've not given expression to. You now marry him and it's now a problem. What I married you to, and you're like, there's so much I want to do. And he didn't know, he didn't have a clue because you wasted your single years. We need to give attention to it. Do all that you can, knowing that this time is not going to last forever. So we should maximize it as single people.
Maximize your singlehood. And Wendy, you're a mother, you're a wife. What would be the extra thing you would say to singles out there about their rising?
I would say, using myself as an example, and just to buttress what she has said, make good use of your time. Time, I always say, is a good ally. You use it for your benefit. You use it to grow in every aspect. Use it to grow. The Bible says a city set on a hill cannot be hid. I'm telling you, after a while, the right, like she said, the right people will come to you. As you are going after God, seeking after Him, the Bible says every other thing added, they will come to you. It's just like a natural thing. Bible cannot lie. As you are growing, as you are seeking God, every other thing, as a single,
will fall in place. So you have to grow, you have to rise till you get to, you know, the place you desire.
Yes.
Okay. Before we get to my next question, I would love to ask about married women one more time. there's the question of people saying, when you marry, it's like there's a lead placed on your progress. I don't know if you've heard that before. There are things you cannot do anymore. You cannot, you cannot grow to certain levels. You cannot rise to certain levels. Do you agree with this?
It depends on maybe the kind of person you married. Exactly. That plays a very major role. If you marry somebody that wants a housewife, and when you start talking about vision, there's a lead already, as in, if the foundation is faulty, what can you do? What can you do? But I feel like there's always a way. There's always a way. You are coming into the house as a help. So, somebody once said, a popular saying, that help, we are the only ones given the name of the Holy Spirit, help, Holy Spirit. So we are coming in there, we should already have our purpose, not coming into looking up to Him to give you purpose. You should already have your purpose, and in fulfilling your purpose, you are helping your husband. So I don't think that should place a lead, but it depends on the kind of person you are married to, and that's why that single moment is very important, so that you'll be able to discern and recognize the kind of person you are getting married to with the help of the Holy Spirit.
Because, yes, naturally, marriage should not keep you from rising. That's not God's plan for your life. Right. So let's move on. We're drawing to a close, and I don't feel like we should close. Okay, personally, what do women need to do to assert influence and, be good leaders?
Okay, one very, very major and important thing we need to do is we need to get knowledge. Knowledge gives you confidence. Nobody is going to just listen to you because you're a woman. And we're not Jezebels. We are not using seduction or using our wiles. If you want to rise, you need to learn how to influence people. These are skills. How to get people on your side. You need to read books, research, get knowledge, excel at something. If whatever it is you're doing, let your hands find to do, be diligent, grow in it. Already, when you're growing in it, that's influence. You already have, if you're building a certain kind of influence, and that's what will propel you even to the other areas that God is opening up. You know how God deals with us, precept upon precept, line upon line. There are visions God has put in my heart. He has told you, but it's for an appointed time. So before that big one, there are many, many small steps that you need to. In all those, don't be ignorant. Ignorance is terrible, especially for a woman. So my advice for women, if you want to assert ourselves, get knowledge, study, be better than everybody else in that area, be better than the men, knowledge-wise, so that when you're called, you have an opportunity, the time comes, the rising comes, you're equipped, you're ready. There's nothing lacking in you. So I believe we need to, as women, get knowledge, study, research, do the work, all the work that we have to do. And that will really, really help us exert influence. People follow you because you know better than them. Not you're more ignorant. If you know more, you have followership.
Nigerians, they follow who know road.
Exactly. So no road.
Abby?
I noticed something in that Judges chapter 4 and chapter 5. Deborah's story, it wouldn't be complete without mentioning Jael.
Yes.
True.
That lady that used her
javelin
that killed Sisera.
I kept on thinking, they said she was a homemaker. That means she was like a housewife. And I was just trying to understand how in her tent, olden days, no internet, how did she know that this was the man that they were looking for? I don't know if you understand.
I guess,
that she saw him and told him to come in. That means she was current. She was informed.
Yes.
You understand? So
Yes.
to add to what she's saying, be current in whatever sphere of life. Be current. She was a housewife. Ours could be in our careers. We should be current. Be up to date. And tell, how did she know that was the man? How did she know? And aside that current, you need to be courageous.
Yes,
for a housewife to kill somebody, that takes courage. I mean, let's look at the good part.
Yes.
It takes courage to kill somebody in your house. So in business, it takes courage. I mean, Giles' name She helped fulfill prophecy, Deborah's prophecy, because of courage. What if she was like, hey, I'll wait for my husband, let him come and she took action. It takes courage. It takes courage to be a leader. So there are some decisions we need to make. God has told us He's for us. Now go. Take action. Be courageous. You know, there was something else I wanted to mention, but those are the ones.
Take action. Be courageous.
Yes.
I like something Nanu said. She said, excel at something. As a housewife, right? You know, a lot of times people talk down on housewives. But now we have seen that Jael, in her little corner in her house, was able to fulfill purpose. Because as you said, she was current. She was up to date.
No internet, nothing. She knew who he was.
Amazing. Wow. This Deborah story is packed with so much wisdom.
True.
I would encourage our viewers to just go sit down and digest these Judges 4 and 5, because there's so much to be learned from it.
I wanted to add, I just
Yes,
remembered
please
what
go
I wanted to add. You know, when he came in, you know, Bible says he was exhausted. Sarah, I think I got the name.
Yes.
He was exhausted. And then she was like, come.
She gave him milk.
You know, she was hospitable. He asked for water.
She gave him
went
milk.
an extra mile. One translation, she said she gave him yogurt.
She's one of the modern translations.
To be a leader, you must be an extra mile person. That's another
Powerful.
Could it have been
Do what
roasters
others-
yogurt?
when I saw that, I was like, oh, so yogurt was mentioned in the Bible.
Interesting. So there's so much we can do to make amazing and influential leaders. I pray that we will take in all of this, we'll soak up all of these lessons and utilize them. We have just a few minutes left, so you just give us your final advice to the women, your final advice to the women. Let's start with you personally.
Okay, I would say it's time to arise. It's time to arise. Shut your mind to the fears, to the doubts, to the traditions, all the things you've heard before that are holding you back. And know there's an assignment, there's a purpose that God has for you. Go in the place of prayer, seek God, forget the fears, and just know that it is time to arise. It is time to do something. That's what I have to say to the women.
Thank you.
What I'll tell women is to go for knowledge, and not just any kind of knowledge. There's the kind of knowledge that destroys. Go for the right kind of knowledge, Word of God, good books, like she said. And another thing that stood out for me in this Deborah story is being an extra mile person. It reminds me of when Abraham hosted God and those angels. You know, he was so hospitable. It was a wow factor for God that when he was leaving, he said that, can I hide what I'm about to do
From
my friend Abraham? I mean, he was just passing, but Abraham was just being his normal self, just being a hospitable and extra mile person. He was able to convince God and his angels to come and have rest and eat. So, like, we should always be extra mile people in our work with God and people.
That will keep us rising. Thank you so much. So, you have heard it all. What more can I say? So, lady, just rise above your background, above your painful past, above your limitation, above your brokenness. Just keep rising in strength like the sun. Within you lies a mother, a warrior, an asset, and solution. Just rise, light your candle in that dark corner. You'll be surprised at how many lives will rise with you. You are worthy, you are valuable, and indispensable like Deborah. Keep rising. Till greatness is what the world sees in you, because you are worthy by design. A big thank you to our beautiful guest for sticking with us. Mrs. Wendy Fave Goje, the CEO of Roaster Cakes. Thank you so much. She has a piece of cake for you. And Pastor Nanu Uhegu, you've been amazing. Thank you for spending so much time with us. Not forgetting you, our dear viewer. Thank you for watching. And do join us again next week. Our quick fix segment is next. See you there. Hi there, I'm excited that you joined us on today's edition of Quick Fix. Today we have something very interesting for you. I'm sure your ears are itching. Yes. Today we're going to be focusing on the worthy man. Yes, the worthy man for our Worthy by Design women. Yes. So I have in the studio a very wonderful gentleman who is going to teach our men how to maintain their clothes, maintain their bodies, and be worthy for our women. I have in the studio
Mr. Osai Christopher Wachiku.
Right. And so what are you teaching us today?
Basically, let me start with what I'm holding. She just introduced a worthy man. Every worthy man is supposed to have a minimum of 2 jackets in their wardrobe. Why I said 2 is because of the color. Every worthy man ought to have a dark color jacket, either a black or a navy blue. Every man, every man. Then with another color. So before I continue, every man too ought to have a small table and an iron in their house, because what I'm holding now is a jacket, and a lot of people don't know how to make use of this simple jacket. Some people wear it under heat. It's not appropriate. If you are not in a function, the jacket ought not to be on your body. Okay. That's why we have something like this. If you're going into the function, you can wear it. You can now wear it. Why are we doing that? It's because of maintenance.
Right.
When you are on the hot sun, maybe you are in a traffic, you want to catch a taxi, and you are wearing, not holding your jacket will be filled with heat. And it will leave a bad smell based on, we'll get to that, based on your body odor. If you have a decent body odor, fine. But if you have a strong body odor, it will reflect on your jacket. And we have the armpit area of the jacket. You should also notice that a jacket is not what you wash every day.
Or every weekend.
Or every weekend. No, man. This is one, I do my jackets twice a year. I'm also a laundryman. It will shock you. But my own jackets, I do it twice a year. Why? That's why you can't catch me wearing a jacket, hopping into a taxi, wearing a jacket on the street. I will hold my jacket because I know the value of it. So, when it comes to maintenance, see what we have inside here. This could be as a result of when you wash manually. It's not everybody. That's why.
What do you mean by wash manually?
When you soak and start using your hand to scrub,
okay,
you destroy. What you do with this is not what you do with this. Now, somebody listening to me will say, Asai, because you have money. No, you don't necessarily need to have money to maintain a jacket that you need to do twice a year. Okay. So the advice is learn to take your jackets to the laundry.
Okay.
So that it will be taken care of appropriately. But there are certain little things you can do at home with your, they are called dry cleaning.
Okay.
There's a huge difference between dry cleaning and laundry.
Okay.
Dry cleaning is when you return from an event, return from church, return from a function. Yeah, you could notice maybe the place was stuffy and you have this muco line. You could get a brush and you just
take it off.
Yes. Your coughs, you know, it's very natural to pick dirt on your cough. So you just, that's dry cleaning. You could just.
So is it from outside or from?
From outside.
First?
Yes.
Okay.
You don't even need to go in, apart from the armpit area.
Okay.
For some, you know, our body chemistries are different, our anatomies are different. So there are persons that, yeah, they are very hygienic, they are very decent, but God has blessed them with a very strong armpit. So whatever they wear, there must be, you know, that mark here. So when they return, when such a person returns from that event, get the brush, get liquid soap, yeah, and just dab it immediately. Now, if you come back from an event and everything is okay with your fabrics, please just put it on the sun for a couple, or if your house is very roomy, don't put it in the wardrobe straight. Just hang it somewhere for a while, an hour, two, before you put it. Okay. Another thing you need to know about the jacket too.
Okay, please go ahead.
There is a suitcase. A lot of people don't, once they buy, they usually buy with the suitcase, but they tend to throw it away. Yeah. No. Everything, they say until the purpose of a thing is known, abuse is what? Inevitable. Right? Now, if the designers, if the manufacturers could sell that to you with a case, it simply means that at home, you also need that case. Yeah, you may have a big house, a big wardrobe and all that. You can't tell when dust will come into your apartment.
So what that case does is to protect it from
dust.
Right.
You understand? Because the jackets, except for white collar job operators, that can wear this on a regular day-to-day basis. Other than that, for some persons that had to wear it maybe only on Sunday or when they have a very important occasion like a wedding and all that, you need to cover it down to save it against dust.
Okay. Now, before we go ahead, you had talked about, taking care of the armpits, cleaning it from inside, cleaning the cuffs.
Yes.
Which other parts of this jacket requires some concentration when cleaning?
The collar.
Oh, great. Okay.
When you come back from an event, use the same procedure. Just clean it. It's called dry cleaning.
Okay, the collar.
Now, yes, the collar. If you are blessed, because I don't want to assume, they say all fingers are not equal. I don't want to assume that I do not have very wealthy audience. And I also don't want to assume that I don't have low income audience. For the very wealthy audience, there is what is called a fog. In fact, Nathan's, there's a laundry called Nathan's in this city. When you are their big time customer for jackets, they give you that. Abroad, they do that. I run a laundry, but I have a client that usually takes his jackets out of the country until he met me. So they gave him one. That is what you use. That fog, it's like a brush. Okay. You just rub it on, it peaks. You'll be hearing kakap. It will be picking all the debts that you have acquired that day. And then you put back your jacket. The essence is use that fog for a time being before you eventually, because this fabric is not what you wash every weekend, like my host has said, or every month end. You need to keep it. You need to take care of it before you take it out to the laundry. Please don't forget, save money. Take it to the right laundry. Don't take it to a place where they will shine your fabric. All right? I have a client, why he's glued to me is because he tested me, I didn't know. And he brought his jacket. And at the end of the day, it came out the same way he gave it to me. It wasn't shining because of the iron. These jackets have a special iron.
All right.
Yeah, suits, what they call suits, they have a special iron for it. Thank you.
I'm sure our viewers have learned something from this segment of Quick Fix. Now we're moving forward, right? Now let's talk about the shirts we wear under this suit. How do we maintain it? Are we going to be maintaining it the way we take care of this suit?
No.
Right.
Yeah, the answer is no. What we wear inside, they are normal shirts. They are for the socialists, for,
the corporate world.
Yeah, there's what is called the dress sense. The dress sense covers the different segments of what we call attire, dressing. We have the traditional dress, we have the casual dress, and we have the corporate dress. Okay? What goes with this primarily is the corporate shirt.
Right.
But notwithstanding, some people that are into casuals could wear their sneakers, wear a jeans and still put a jacket on and a t-shirt.
Okay, maybe for the sake of this conversation, we'll focus on the corporate shirt.
Yes.
Right.
For the corporate shirts, it is important that whilst you know that the maintenance for this is long time, so it's well planned, the one inside is short planned. If it's a white shirt, please, I even advise that you wash the white shirts almost immediately. If it's a colored shirt and you think you are good, you can repeat it, okay? But pay attention to your armpits, pay attention to the cuffs, pay attention to your collar. That's for the shirts, for the corporate shirts. It's very vital that you pay attention to the cuffs, you pay attention to the armpit, and then the collar.
Right.
Yeah.
So, the paying attention, is it, dry cleaning it or washing it? What's the attention?
Like I said, if it is a white shirt and you are a very good manager, there are people that are very good managers of fabric. They are conscious of what they wear, okay? Now, if you're that kind of person, then you can give your white shirt a second wear.
Okay.
I know what I mean. But if you're not that kind of a person, please, for whites,
Wash immediately.
Wash immediately.
Right.
But if it's a colored fabric, sky blue, you can name all the colors, you could still do the dry cleaning, because where you're going to have problem is fundamentally is the armpit, because now you're not just wearing that corporate shirt alone, you are putting something on top of it. Okay. So the chemical reactions from your armpits will get to the fabric, and definitely it will have a bad smell. It will have those mucous lines and all that. So that's why we say if it's white, you could just do you just wash immediately. But if it's colored, you could pay attention to that. Dry clean it. Use a brush, take care of it, take care of the cuff and the neck, and then you could use it for the second time.
Okay, so let's tie all of this up together with hygiene. Good.
Because hygiene actually affects the fabric.
How so?
Yeah, because if you have a bad, if you're not good at taking care of your body, what I mean by that is, as a man, there are certain parts of your body that are critical. Because they are covered does not mean that they shouldn't be taken care of. Now, we talk about the armpit. Why is the armpit critical to the fabric? It's because there's a chemical reaction there. And a lot of people have their armpits filled with hairs. It's not appropriate. It's not appropriate. As a matter of decency, the armpit should be shaved regularly. In fact, for an ideal man
for a worthy man.
For a worthy man.
Yeah.
Yeah. A worthy man will have his shaving stick in the bathroom. A mirror in the bathroom. Because sometimes before you bathe or after you bathe, you take time to look at yourself in the mirror. Look at the man in the mirror. Lift up your hands and see, how is this place doing? And how is that place doing? So number one, you must ensure that the bears underneath your armpits are well shaven. Number two, you need a deodorant, a cologne. There are two types. There's the cologne and there is the body spray. There's the body spray. You could use it so that you could have a good smell. What a lot of worthy ladies don't want to encounter is a bad smell. And let me bring up a bit, let me crack your ribs a bit, because I've witnessed that firsthand. I'm a Christian, I go to church. Sometimes I want to shift my seat because of what I'm about to share. We're in church and we lifted up hands to worship, and what came out of a young man's armpit was so terrible. I had to beckon on the usher, can you move my seat? And they said, why not? You're not comfortable? I said, yes, I'm not comfortable. He said, is it the AC? I said, hey, it's not the AC, but it's part of it. So I walked away. Now, for you not to have such embarrassment, I think they're about 600 naira. Just get one and use it on your armpit, and your armpit will smell fine.
Right. This has been an amazing conversation that has gone from maintaining your suit to maintaining your shirt to hygiene. You've been an amazing guest.
One more before we go.
Oh.
Now, we're talking about the fabrics. We talked about the suit. We talked about the inner shirt, and there's what we call the underwear.
Oh.
The underwear. For the male world, well, I'll give kudos to my dad. Until he died, he was wearing a pant. And I know the name of his pant, Hanes. But today, everybody wants to do a boxer because of what medical science has told us about the pants. You don't need to stifle that, you're private. Now, your underwear needs to be taken care of. You need to pay a more attention to your underwear.
How often should it be changed?
You can, it all depends on what you do. Like when I was a child, one of the morals we're taught is that you brush twice a day. To me, even the underwear should be done twice a day. It all depends on. If you wear one out, as you return, you could change it. You could change it. That's why I am of the opinion that every worthy man should have as many underwears as they can lay their hands on.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Change your underwears daily,
Even
least.
twice in a day. Yeah. At least once a day. And don't repeat it.
Right.
Don't repeat it. The worthy woman will take note of it.
Yes.
It will stink.
We don't repeat ours. All right, this has been an amazing conversation. Thank you so much, Mr. Osai Nwachukwu.
That's right.
He is a garment consultant. That's what I call him.
That's right.
You can also call him a laundryman if you like, and he will do justice to your laundry. Trust me. All these clothes you see me wear, from here it's going to him. And by the time it comes back, it's coming back as good as new. So, I hope you've learned something new. Till we come your way again next week. I'm telling all the men, remain worthy by design, just like the women are worthy by design. I am Iberi Chins. See you next time.
Yeah.